Hi there guys, and welcome once again to Jonesy's vlog. So the Circus is back in town at Leeds United, and I'm getting pretty sick of calling it a circus and calling it a laughing stock. It's just getting ridiculous now. But before I get on to the whole managerial situation and everything, I'll just talk quickly about the match on Saturday. It was very much, as has been the case recently, of being a game of two halves, where first half we look pretty decent, very in control of the match, very similar to the Rotherham game, and second half we just don't seem to turn up. It was Milinic's sixth game in charge, and we were all looking for that first win. And the way we went out in that first half, things were looking really good. The team were looking in great shape. There were a few changes in there. Obviously, one of the big ones being Steve Morrison starting for the first time in God knows how long, and he was looking great as well. He was chasing every single ball down. He actually looked interested, which was sort of my main criticism of him before. We had Lewis Cook, Alex Mauer, and Adrian, all in the same team. Adrian looked okay. Doing some good touches here and there, but you can tell it's still taking a while for him to get used to the English game, and physically he definitely needs to get used to it a bit more. Maybe he's used to it not being quite as physical as what it is. But all in all, in general, the team were working well together. We looked quite dangerous going forward. We were looking very tight in defence. But it was the main thing of actually looking like we were creating stuff going forward. The actual goal that we scored was a beautiful goal. I think Alex Mount with the initial ball forward, Steve Morrison with a good cut back to Antonucci, and a fantastic finish from Antonucci as well. Mowat had a glorious chance, which would have put us 2 up. Or was that before the goal? I can't quite remember, but he had a chance that he should have done better with, really. Bianchi had a great chance with a header as well, and we were looking at half time. We could quite easily have been 3 up. Wolves hadn't looked too threatening. They'd had a few kind of opportunities going forward. I think the closest chance was from a free kick, but we looked well in control of the game, and there was no issue there. But second half, just like Rotherham, we just did not turn up at all, and we sat back, we gave up on going forward, and if we were going forward, then we seemed to be trying to overdo it instead of just creating the chances simply. We were trying to be too fancy with it, and the longer and longer that we were setting off, it was obvious Wolves were going to get more confidence from it. It was a case of both that we were poor, but Wolves obviously improved in the second half, and there was only one way the game was going to go. You could tell that we weren't going to increase the lead, and as soon as Wolves got back into it with their equaliser, at first I thought it was a really bad mistake from Belushi in defence, but looking back now, it was kind of unlucky, really, the way it kind of ricocheted off his chest or thigh area, and just went straight to their player who hammered it in. But as soon as they got the equaliser, I think everyone in Ellen Road knew the way that game was going to be going, and we never seemed to step it up either. Even when the equaliser went in, you would have thought the players would have got a bit of a rocket up their arse and thought, right, well, we need to go do this now. And it just never happened, and it was really, really disappointing. And from that moment, it just wasn't looking good all round. People started chanting for Redfern, and you could tell something. I mean, I don't think anyone would guess that Milinic would lose his job after the game, but you could tell something was going to sort of kick off a little bit anyway. And I mean, I had noticed when I'd looked over towards the West Stand during the game, I'd noticed Redfern and Cellino sat together, talking about the game and everything, and it seems pretty clear at that point probably Cellino knew what he was going to do anyway, really. So yeah, like I say, the match in general, it was a game in the first half and at half time that we should have gone on and won quite comfortably. and we ended up losing 2-1, which is not good enough. Really disappointing. And you know, with a lot of tough fixtures coming up, you know, that was a game that we should be getting points from. So yeah, then after the game, obviously, you know, I listened to Milinic's interview on Radio Leeds afterwards, which wasn't very inspiring. Didn't really make anyone feel any better. And then not long after that, I got the text through saying that you know, check your Twitter, Milinic is gone, which I wasn't expecting. And the first thing that came to my head was, you know, how I started this video. You know, the circus is back in town, which was something I was hoping we'd be getting away from. But I think we should know with Cellino in charge that that's never going to disappear now. You know, whatever happens in the future. Let's get one thing straight. I mean, technically speaking, and looking at the, you know, the overall view of everything, I'm not disappointed that Milinic is not our coach anymore. He was clearly not the right man from the start. I mean, I was willing to give the guy a go. I think everyone was willing to give the guy a go. He was an unknown, you know, kind of entity to us. You know, he might have done well, you know, over, I think it was Maribor that he'd done in Sturm Graz. But to us, we didn't know anything about him really. And even though a lot of people questioned the decision, we were willing to give the guy a go. Now, he wasn't given time, you know, even though it clearly wasn't working out. The guy deserved a little bit more time, and, you know, Cellino hasn't respected that decision. And I really do feel sorry for Milinic. You know, people can say, oh, well, he'll be getting a good and decent payoff and everything, but at the end of the day, yes, you know, he'll be glad that he's getting some kind of money out of it, but he'll have wanted to do a good job at Leeds, and no matter what people can say from his interviews, it definitely sounded like he, you know, he wanted to do well at the club and that he was trying hard, and I don't doubt that he was, but it was just never meant to be from the start. And really, realistically, let's look at this. If Cellino would have just made the right decision in the summer, you know, after sacking McDermott, if he would have just made the sensible decision then and hire someone who either had experience or just, you know, someone that wasn't Dave Hockaday, basically. You know, if he would have just made the correct decision, then we would not be the laughingstock that we are right now. But he decided to go for a complete unknown that everyone could see that was not going to work out from the start. Gets rid of him. Neil Redfern takes over for a few matches. It was clear to see that he was a better option than going for someone else at the time. Cellino thought, no, let's go for someone else. And it's yet another mistake that Cellino's made, and he keeps coming out saying, I've made a mistake with this guy. Well, just go and think about your decision before you're making it first. You know, how many of these mistakes are you going to have to make before you get it right? You know, just get it right from the start. Make the right appointment from the start. I mean, are you seriously saying that Cellino thought he was making the right decision with Hockaday to start with and with Milinic? This is kind of one of those videos where I could go on and rant for, you know, ages and ages about all the things to do with Cellino. It's one of those issues where, yes, you're thankful for him for putting the money into the club and making certain decisions, but when you look at other stuff that he's doing and other stuff that he's done, you've got to seriously question whether he is the right guy to be taking this club forward. You know, it's all well and good him getting the fans on side, going in with the fans and having banter with them and everything, that dreaded word. You know, it's all well and good getting fans on side like that, but, you know, to be having 3 different guys in charge before Christmas, you know, in 4 different stints as well, you know, if you count Neil Redfern as twice, you know, 4 managers before Christmas is stupid. It is ridiculous, and I don't see how we're going to, I mean, we should have known with his record before over in Italy, you know, 30 odd managers in the time that he was at Cagliari, and you just think, well, if he's, you know, he's choosing these managers from the beginning, so he's got to take the blame for it every single time, yet he obviously gets away with it. And, you know, he's doing the same already, and he's only been at the club, what is it, 9-10 months or something? I don't know what it is. Personally, although I am kind of glad to see Redfern in the hot seat now, personally now I think there's a lot more pressure on the guy, whereas before, if the job would have been given to him then, you know, he'd already had those few in charge of sort of caretaker and there was no real pressure. If it had just been given to him then, I feel it would have been better. But now, after having another guy in charge and seeing that he's not performed after just 6 games and 32 days in charge, you know, there is so much more pressure now, I feel, on Redfern. And at the end of the day, you know, you look what happens to the academy now, who takes over there. If things don't go right for Redfern with the first team, does he go back to the youth academy after that? Does he get the sack from the club? It is a complete mess. It is a complete and utter mess. And people are trying to just say, oh, it's not that big a deal and it's not as bad as people are saying. Oh, open your eyes, guys. Seriously? Are you happy? Are you seriously telling me you're happy with how this season is going so far? I mean, it is a complete... We are a laughing stock. I mean, you know, there's been times over the years where a lot of people have taken advantage of this club and put us in the headlines for the wrong reasons. And it's happening again. And I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say that I necessarily want Cellino out of the club, but if he isn't going to buck his ideas up and start treating the club with respect and start treating, you know, the decision of bringing a head coach or manager in with respect, then I don't want him at the club, whether he's got the money or not. You know, I would rather someone else come in, even if they've got less money, as long as they've got a sensible head on them and they're not stupid and rash with the decisions. Because at the end of the day, it's stupid and rash decisions that put us in, you know, the mess that we were before. And, you know, I don't want to be going down to League One again, you know, facing Tuesday night trips to Carlisle and God knows where. So, yeah, that's all I've got tonight, guys. Obviously, I'm sure you've got a lot to say, a lot to comment about. Tomorrow, got a special video going out because it's my 2-year anniversary here on YouTube. So do look out for that video. It's something that I hope you'll all enjoy. It's something I've been spending a lot of time on. But yeah, a little sort of celebration. You know, we've got to have something to make us smile nowadays, haven't we? So yeah, like I say, guys, leave your thoughts in the comments below or on my Twitter at Jonesy. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon.